Hey, what's up? Joe Roscoe here on Move Fast, Live Heavy podcast. Thanks for joining in. We're just racking up the episodes. Episode 4 coming at you. If you haven't checked out our apparel or our online training program, go to movefastliftheavy.com. You can try out a full week free trial of our online training program, and you can see all of the amazing apparel that Christian Harris has cooked up in his brilliant athletic fit mind of his. Who knew you could be so fit and so creative? So check it out, movefastliftheavy.com, all things fashion and fitness. All right, we got an exciting guest, but before we bring him on, we're going to bring on our co-host, the man I was just speaking about, Christian Harris. CH, what's going on, my friend?
What's going on, y'all? How we doing today?
What up, what up?
So today we have Cooper Marsh joining us on the show. He is my agent. I've known Cooper for about 4 or 5 years now. I don't quite remember how we got started together. I know I reached out to him. I was very forward, and he actually rejected me and turned me down at the time. But here we are now, 2021. Still working together.
I love that. It's gonna be. Let's start out with some drama from the get-go.
Sometimes you get rejected, you know.
I love it. All right, let's bring him on. Cooper Marsh, hey.
What's up, guys? And yeah, we gotta clear the air on that one.
Let's get right into that one. Into it.
You know, if anybody's tuned into Game of Thrones, and you know, like how King Joffrey, right? You know, that
yeah. Gave thumbs up, thumbs down, yeah.
But no, so I remember the first time I met Christian. It was at his gym. It was in a prior career path for me. But I remember having, you know, this is the time when CH was putting up 330 on the snatch, and you know, everybody in the CrossFit space was kind of losing their mind about it. Or he'd be the guy to like touch and go 315 for reps or something, and you'd be like, "What is this? Is this even possible?" So I remember I was there, right, with the supplement company I was with at the time. And he was so mellow, and you know, he'd just kind of sit against the wall as if he was like in a locker room, you know, in between halves, just like, you know, did not say much, just nodded his head yes or no, but was always really kind, just very, very, very chill. And so that was the start of our relationship. It was a few words over many hours. And then, yeah, CH approached me about representing him. And I didn't think I had the bandwidth. Little did I know that, you know, I was operating at like 1/10 of the capacity that, you know, I'm at now. And he was like, "You should reconsider." And so we did. I reconsidered. Oh, sorry. I thought I just got kicked out.
No, you're still here. Tell us. So for our viewers and listeners, I just had to clear the air with that drama there. I love that. Let's rewind and tell them a little bit about lab management and your role. Oh, he did go away. Well, while he's going away, Christian, you still there?
I'm here.
Okay, cool. When Cooper met you and you were doing this shaking your head no, shaking your head yes, who was Cooper at the time? He was just starting out with lab management, or how did you hear of him?
Man, how did he was working for hang on, he's just texting me. He's trying to get back in.
All right. Tell us a little bit about that on the front end here with our live stream. No big deal. On the back end, I'll just edit it out for our podcast.
Sounds good. He was working for, or still works for, Endurance, the supplement company.
Yeah.
At the time, and just kind of like got me on board there with them. Was using their products for a while, and I think through that relationship, working with Coop, working under him at Endurance, is how I kind of found out that he was managing athletes. And basically I just picked his brain. Like, I had a couple of low level sponsorships at the time, and kind of wanted to take my stab at some bigger companies and things like that. So I reached out to him, and that's kind of how that whole thing started.
Got it. Well, yeah, are you still an athlete of theirs for this supplement or no?
No.
Yeah, got it.
Boys, can you
Cooper,
see me?
welcome back.
Sorry about that.
Yeah, you're here.
Nice time for the computer to just reboot. So sorry for the poor time.
That's that we're in March of 2021, so it's just going back to March of 2020, so it's all good. We're just catching up more about lab management and that starting relationship with you and Christian. So what I wanted to get into, just to give the viewers and listeners some background, is just what is lab management, maybe some people you represent, just give them a little background about that.
Yeah, no, absolutely. So lab management was actually started by my partner, Jason St. Clair, and he was one of the first agents in the CrossFit space back in probably 2013. So yeah, he was the first agent in the CrossFit space with Camille and Josh Bridges. And he was a former baseball agent. And so we can kind of get into how that translated into other sports for us. But I partnered up with Jay and, kind of started running the ship for Lab 2 years ago. We help manage athletes' brands off the field, as well as, CrossFit Games athletes, because their off-field brand is kind of similar to their on-field brand. We have athletes across multiple sports. So we've got CrossFit, we have Olympic athletes, we have some baseball players we do some work with, some NFL guys. And then, we even have a monster truck driver and, golfers and things like that. So we work with a multitude of people, and it's a lot of work, but it's incredible.
Who's the monster truck driver? Because I think she dropped into my box in Ohio a couple of years ago.
Cynthia Gauthier?
Yes. Yeah. Mm-hmm.
She's a stud, dude. She's nuts. She can backflip her truck, which is an 18,000 pound truck.
That's wild.
She's from Canada, right?
Yeah. French Canadian.
Yeah.
You can very much tell when you talk to her.
Yeah. Well, let's I know Christian has some stuff he wants to ask, but I just wanted to get into first, and then I'll step aside. What's like the main differences between your baseball athlete or a more, I don't know, within the box athlete?
Sport. Yeah.
Exactly. In comparison to a CrossFitter or an Olympian, what are those main differences?
Yeah. So, you could even almost lump in some of the Olympic athletes into the traditional sport world, just because, CrossFit athletes, they have to fight tooth and nail, for income. Right. And I think companies kind of forget that, because they look at a traditional athlete and they just say, hey, you guys are, ridiculously paid. Right. If you look at a baseball player, like some of the baseball players I work with, it's like, dude, they've signed $100 million contracts. Like they don't need any money, right? To the point where it's like you have baseball players out there that, have signed those massive deals and don't even have an Instagram. They don't care because it doesn't matter. But some of them, right, they might only be making league minimum, which, don't get me wrong, it's still a good chunk of change. But that could go away at any moment, right? And so to monetize their platform while they're in the limelight is super important. And so we try to take advantage of that. But it's just crazy, man, because you have that side of things where they're so, kind of green to social media, and where it's like they're still learning. And then you look at somebody like Christian, who, produces and creates his own content and media. It's professional level stuff. When I ask him to do his post requirement for XYZ brand, it's like got graphics on it and his own flair to it. He just kind of goes above and beyond there. So it's very, very different worlds. And it's just funny, man. I was in because I live in Scottsdale. I was downtown at a MLB Players Association, like social media talk. And they had like a board of professionals there. And I went there with the idea that I would ask some higher level questions and try to like jam with somebody that's, in the space. And the content that they were going over was like how to put a post up. And I was like, oh, wow. So I just like crumpled up my paper and just sat there for like an hour and a half. I was like, okay, like this is kind of crazy. This is right before COVID. So we're in 2020 and they're like, we're talking about how to use a hashtag. Like, all right, that's wild. And so, that's the major difference. Is like just the way that CrossFit athletes grasp and utilize their platforms and, monetize them, because that's how they make their living.
Yeah, let's get into that. Like as their agent, them having to make their living off of sponsors and how they post and their followers and all of that. How do you assist them on that? And how do you leverage that when you're trying to pull deals with other companies and so on and so forth?
Yeah, no, absolutely. So, I mean, if you look at somebody like Christian, right? And it's just easy because he's here. You're always trying to get them in bed with companies that, they genuinely enjoy and stand by. And then that will actually support them, right? Because at the end of the day, like, these are human beings. They need to put food on the table. And I think sometimes brands come to the table and think like, oh, I'll give you a pair of socks if you'll post like 12 times. It's like, that does nothing for anybody. And so, my goal as an agent, right, or Deb, who's also, on the lab team, DG, I'm sure, those who support Move Fast Lift Heavy know who Deb is, right? She's a stud. She's also one of the agents at lab. Like, our goal is to protect the athlete's image and likeness, right? And to make sure that they're getting paid for it. So when we work with these companies, we want to make sure that it's an even trade, right? It's fair, right? Both sides are getting a win here. They're getting compensated. The brand is going to see some ROI and actually move the needle. And, they're not going to kind of own you as an athlete for years past the contract, things like that. So you definitely want to protect that. In terms of how it kind of goes down, sometimes it's a little bit of a company comes to you and it's like a vetting process, right? It's almost as if you're speed dating. Other times, and most of the time, myself or the other agents on the team are out, cold calling and essentially trying to vet out and work with companies that we think would be a really good fit. And then from there, it's a process of actually, does the athlete genuinely like the product? What does their marketing budget look like? How do they, want to work with the athlete? Are they going to be set up for success, or is this kind of going to be something that's a flash in the pan? In which case we might not want to take that, because we don't want to just align the brand with any company, right? We don't want to align the athlete brand with any company. Otherwise it cheapens the brand. So there's definitely like specific, tools and processes that we adhere to.
Cool. Christian, what do you got?
I kind of want to know how you got started in being an agent. Like, what was your mindset? Yeah. Like,
you want short-winded or you want long-winded? I'm going to have to turn my hat around for this one. No,
well,
let's go medium-winded.
Okay.
We got about 45 minutes left.
Okay. So I've always had a knack for sales, right? My mom always told me I could sell ice to an Eskimo. And so, working with agents, there's obviously different kind of dimensions to it, but you're still selling somebody's brand onto a company, right? Oftentimes you have to make the light bulb flick on for them. So I've kind of always had that, had been in sales, had been a teacher. So I kind of developed that ability to be able to be like, get that stern voice and kind of say exactly what it is you want, and what it is that needs to happen. And so from there, working in the CrossFit space, I was exposed to Jason, who was my boss for a little while. And I saw him doing his thing. And I thought, you know what, that is what I want to be doing. Right. I like negotiating. I like hunting for deals. I like working with athletes, and I like managing things and making sure that things get done. Right. And so then I was like, Jay, I want to understudy under you. And so he took me in, and, from there, it's just been kind of a slow add-on of more athletes, more spaces, and then the things that we're doing with those athletes to the point where, I now run the show for Lab. So yeah, it's kind of wild to look back at, right? Like when you look back 5 years, 10 years to see where you are now, it's like, all right, here we go. Like, things are happening, but I just keep thinking about what's the next 5-10 years going to look like. I still feel like I'm in crazy build mode. So
yeah, I mean, it's being alongside you, it's been cool to see your growth over the years. So kudos to you. Hats off.
Appreciate it. Yeah, that's right. I mean, same thing with CH though. If you guys looked at, Move Fast from, these days to what it is now. I mean, you guys
I appreciate that.
Flying.
I have something to kind of keep going with this conversation about the agent side of things. What would you say to any athlete or just anyone in general who is looking to be, I guess, represented by an agent or anything like that? Like, what would you say is like the minimum criteria someone would need to?
Yeah, I mean, minimum criteria, right? Like, I don't think you're going to necessarily need to have an agent until you actually have a following that could be monetized. So usually like in that 10K range, you could start to make some money. But I would say like criteria you should be looking for in agents, like one, do they have any background in the space, right? They don't necessarily have to be, the world's best agent, but they need to have a slight understanding. They need to be willing to learn. Because sometimes there's growing pains, right? With an athlete or with an agent, and you figure it out. The other thing though is like, as an athlete who wants to work with an agent, like don't come in having already signed like 4 to 5 contracts with companies that's just like free product for this and whatever, because then you're just completely locked down and there's not much somebody can do for you. If you're a young athlete, like you can, or a budding athlete, right, with a decent little following that's growing or whatnot, like you can get things given to you and support handed to you by companies, but you really don't need to sign a contract. So if somebody wants to float you product, or you wear their shirts or whatever on the competition floor in terms of a little bit of travel stipend, like you better make sure that those contracts aren't anything where you're locked down for a long period of time. Because you look at somebody like just for example, like Justin Medeiros, right? Kid had a breakout year, absolutely crushed it, and hats off to his team. Like, had he had been signed in with like a bunch of different companies where like somebody like him might have, or if he had jumped on the first thing that was handed to him, then like after he qualified for the games, then when he took third place at the games, he might not have been able to go out and sign with Noble or the other companies that he's signed with. So definitely don't get yourself into a bind, because I see a lot of that, right? And it just, it also kind of cheapens your brand before you even started doing anything, because those that have followed you are like, hey, you've worked with 7, apparel companies and 8 supplement companies in 6 months. Like, how is that possible? Like, okay, you're just, you just love free gear. Like, it's, the word is not bond at that point. So, definitely don't get into any contractual obligations. That's like priority number 1 until it's actually time.
Cool.
Yeah.
So would you maybe say, as far as advice to someone seeking an agent, if they have a company that approaches them, maybe their first step, instead of even going further with a negotiation of some sort, is to go to an agent or a few and say, hey, I have this offer and I'm agentless, what do you think?
Yeah, I mean, if somebody actually has the bandwidth to be able to like look through that and whatnot, that absolutely is. I'd say that's a safer bet than just being like, you know what, let me wing it. I'll sign this thing. Like, what's a termination clause? Like I don't even know what that means. What's image and likeness? You'd be better off to go and bring that to somebody who actually can read through a contract. And it might not even be an agent, man. It might just be somebody who's like, somebody at your gym who is in the business world and understands what some of those things are, what they're looking for, things like that. But yeah.
I'm kind of coming from it though, from the angle of like, say Christian, when he approached you that first time, if he had deals on the table, or maybe he did, that he would use that as almost negotiation leverage to you, saying like, hey, I already got stuff coming at me.
Yeah, no, I mean, that's absolutely been the case with some of our athletes. There's some times where, an athlete's gotten kind of forced into being like, I don't know how to handle this. Like, this is not for me. I need somebody to take this off my plate. And I mean, CH, correct me if I'm wrong, but that could have honestly been how we kind of started getting going together, because I remember at first I was like, oh man, I don't know. I've got 3 or 4 athletes and I'm pretty tapped. In reality, I wasn't. It was just I was working another full-time job. And then, I think when you said, hey, let's reconsider here, please, because I've got, 4 or 5 things on the table already. I was like, wait a minute. Okay, his brand is actually trending upwards. And that wasn't even I mean, dude, you're only sitting at like 55K followers or something at that point. Like you've doubled. And in large part, right, due to the work that you've put in, the content you've put out, but also, some of those contracts panned out, or, they led to bigger ones. So, yeah, I think CH kind of won the negotiation
100%.
with me, if we're being honest. He locked me down. So.
I've got a question for you, another one. What would you say to someone that is looking to potentially be an agent and they're looking as maybe a career option for them?
Yep. So, I mean, first off, I think you need to determine what it is that you want to do, right? Like, because being an agent, it can be multiple different like avenues, right? Like you could be somebody who's doing just like on field, clubhouse, on course type deals, right? But if they want to do it, let's just say it's CrossFit space, then you're going to be looking more into like marketing endorsement deals, right? So that's leveraging social media. Now, could it be a career? It can be, absolutely, but you're going to have to work there, because you're not just going to come in and go and, sign a deal that's big enough that you can pay yourself your commission and live have a livable salary, right off the bat. Like that's probably just not going to happen unless you happen to sign the next like winner of the CrossFit Games or something. And it was somebody nobody saw coming, right? But if you wanted to do it, like 100% first thing, full stop, is like you need to go and learn from somebody who knows how to do it. Because you can think you know it all, right? Like I know myself when I was young, like, oh, I could figure this out. And then just, having my hand slapped a few times by Jason as I learned, like, dude, that's not what you do. That's not what you do. Like you really start to kind of figure out how things work. And I mean, dude, you're always learning, right? Like I always feel like I'm getting better and better at whatever it is I do. But that's because I'm not afraid to fail for things. And had I just gone into it without any type of guidance, I'd be probably years back of where I am now. So yeah, absolutely. Sure. Work with somebody who knows what they're doing. So
in your case, did you go to college? Did you for whatever, sports management or anything like that?
No, not at all, dude. Like I went to junior college. I played soccer there. I didn't know what to do going into a 4-year school. This is actually kind of funny. I was going to go for like communications, right? Like just this catch-all degree. And then I was going to go there, and all of a sudden I was like, you know what, I'm going to do psychology. Like psychology works. And then I was signing up for the classes, and I realized like, I don't really like psychology. I switched back to communications that day. And then I left there and I was like, oh man, damn, I didn't commit to like the harder thing, what I thought was harder. And then somebody was like, hey, why don't you do economics? Like it's kind of business-esque, but it's still a liberal arts degree. Like it's a little bit more up your alley. And I was like, yeah, that works. I'll do that. So I did economics, and then I got my master's in education. But it's just more so like the life experiences, that's what led me to where I am now. It's not so much the degree. And having been a teacher, man, like I taught at a charter school where the mission statement was like every single student needs to graduate from college. I just, I never bought into that ever, like, because it's BS to me. Like 100% college can be a great thing, right? But I'm so like, if you know what you want to do and it's like an entrepreneurial thing or like whatever, like just start going, start failing, right? Start learning. You'll learn way more like from the school of hard knocks than you will from, XYZ establishment. And that's not say like, I've got 2 degrees. Like, my mom's a guidance counselor in a technical school. Like, so I see things from all sides of that, but yeah, it's just college degrees, I don't think necessarily line up to where your passions are. I just think people are choosing things at such a young age that they're just really not sure. And so, I would have loved to have done sports management. That would probably be a great thing, but here I am doing sports management, right? In like 6 different dimensions. So yeah.
I'd say you're doing some psychology too, right? Like who's easier to work with, male athletes or female athletes?
Dude. I mean, you're kind of a prima donna sometimes, so I would say, it gets a little iffy.
Wait. Give us an example of how Christian's a prima donna.
Oh, well, I mean, I didn't realize, like, look how nice his beard's lined up. That's first thing right there. No, CH is not. He's not really a prima donna, but there are times, right, where like there is a little psychology involved. Right? Like him and I had a back and forth the other day, and this is more tongue in cheek, and it's funny, but you know, CH was just like stressed out with whatever 30 different things as he runs like 3 businesses. You know, is a pro athlete and you know, fitness guru, yada yada, right? And he was like, man, like this like one thing is taking up some time, like. And I was just like, hey, reframe your thinking here. Like, as an hourly rate, you're a multimillionaire, you know, like whatever it is he was doing. And he was just like, yeah, true that. You're right. Like, and I've had to do that for athletes a lot. Sometimes they get stressed out, right? And it's like, it's totally cool. I'm just being a bit of an ass just to be funny and like lighten them up a little bit. But, you know, doesn't matter. Male, female. I work with a lot of females. But like, you know, there's times where, you know, one of them will be like, man, this post is taking too long to create. And I'm like, man, you're getting paid like thousands of dollars for that post. Like if it takes you 10 minutes, like take whatever the rate is, right? For simple math, say you're getting paid like $5,000 for that, like multiply it by 6, like you're getting $30,000 an hour to do this one post, like an hour. We're not even talking about it. That's $240K a day. That's, you know, like, that's $1 million a week, you know, like
I mean, when you break it down like that, you make it seem like, you know,
right, that's what I'm saying though. Like, so
do they come back at,
it's true though.
Yeah. So, and it's
sometimes
just,
you need
it's
that
just
kick
more
in the
so
ass.
Yeah, exactly. I did it. I was just out in Vegas with 3 of my CrossFit Games women out there, and you know, one of them I was talking to, and I said that to, and she was like, "All right, yeah, you're right." She's like, "This is pretty badass," and it's like, hell yeah, it is badass. But I mean, at the same time, it's totally earned, right? Like, you don't just get those followers for not, you know, you do all the hard work to have those people kind of come around for the ride, and so don't get me wrong, like that math doesn't exactly line up because you wouldn't be in that position without the hours and hours of blood, sweat, and tears, but it's more so just kind of fun to think about and be like, hey, you can do this. And, you know, they're always like, yeah, absolutely.
For sure. You had brought up Justin Medeiros about, you know, who's going to win the CrossFit Games. With Matt Fraser retiring. We can go girls and guys. Who do you got this year for winning the CrossFit Games, male and female?
Christian Harris. And
you know, I'm team.
I know. Hey, team for life, dude. No, that's gonna be a good team, by the way. That's gonna be exciting to watch. That kid on your team, Will, is a stud, and you have 2 really good chicks. No, for men, God, man. I mean, I would say Justin's the person to beat. Like, I think all of those guys at the top, like Pat, Brent, Noah, they're all.
Give us one. You got to go with one. Who's it gonna be?
I mean, then if I have to just give you one straight up this year, I would probably say Justin Medeiros. Yeah, I'd have to say it's that kid. Like he's got a good swagger to him.
Yeah, and he's got the mullet.
Man, when I was out in Ireland, like he was just fun to watch. Like he just came out of nowhere. Like who's this dude with the mullet? And like tearing shit up like nobody's business. It was the first time I heard of him, and man, he's a force. Those wrestlers, man, they have a force. Yeah, you know.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. That's a good conversation. Is like, what former athletics makes the best CrossFitter? You got gymnasts, you got wrestlers because of the pain cave. You know, is there any other?
I think wrestlers got to be up there.
Yeah, the pain cave. Those guys suffer.
Mm-hmm. They know how to deal with it for sure.
Agreed.
I think wrestlers, gymnasts, yeah.
Yeah, and like Josh Bridges being one of our guys, right? Like I've trained with Josh a lot, and like he is messed up, man. Like Josh is, you know, he's multiple knee surgeries, elbow surgeries, like, you know, and the dude still just like loves to suffer, like loves to just like hurt really badly. And it's funny, I'm always convinced I'll like beat him in a workout, And it's like, dude, it doesn't even matter. Like, he'll like kill himself to win. So yeah, wrestlers have, they're a little tapped, to be honest, and it's impressive. So
Yeah.
Yeah.
All right. Who do you got for the ladies? For the ladies, who do you got?
I'm gonna have to. It's got to be a lab athlete. So this is tough. I'm gonna say the lab athlete that. Oh man, I don't know if I dude.
You're fucked, bro. You're fucked.
Yeah. I don't know, dude. I have a hard time answering this one, Joe. You might lose me a client. I believe in all of them so much. I think I have to be here. I'm sorry, but can I talk about each of them and how sick they're going to be?
Yes. Talk about each of the lab clients that you think have a chance, and then why they have a chance.
Okay, so Amanda Barnhart, she moved to comp train. Weakness is more so high level gymnastic pulling and just some like movement issue. Like her jerk has always been a problem. She's cleaning the jerk up, which means, you know, pretty soon she'll clean and jerk 275, 280, which is a huge number for women. Her muscle ups have gotten incredibly good. She is built like a racehorse. She's a stud. So she has a huge chance. And just like, yeah, she's just in an environment where she's getting good and she's feeling dangerous, which is, I think, the biggest thing in CrossFit. Like, I think you have to have all the pieces, but if you feel dangerous, right? Like Fraser or Tia feel dangerous. I know you know they walk on the floor and think they're going to mop the place up. That's an important thing, right? And out in Vegas, though, you know, I've got 3 women out there.
True.
You know, Carrie, Bethany, and Danielle, and I just trained with them the last 2 days. And, you know, they're so good that I stopped training. I just started watching. Like,
can you give last names for any listeners that, you know, might not know?
Yep. So Amanda Barnhart was the first one. Carrie Pierce, 3rd place in the games this year. You know, just she's getting stronger, which is crazy because, you know, gymnastics.
What did she just jerk recently
in the world? Dude, 286.
Yeah, that's
286, double body weight. Like,
that's heavy for me.
Bro, that's more than mine. I'm like, Jesus. So yeah, she's lights out. There's not really much to be said about Carrie. Like, she's fittest female in America for what, like 4 of the last 5 years. Like, you know, it's time to put like a little bit more respect on Carrie's name. Bethany Shadburn. Bethany is one of the best at odd and end object workouts, right? Like, give her something weird and she'll usually take top 3 in it or something. But now she's always been incredibly good at gymnastics. Like, she smashed Mary at the games, right, with Carrie. So Bethany won the first heat, Carrie won the second heat. But now Bethany's getting a lot stronger. Mentally, she's coming along and getting very, very positive there, which has been a growing point for her. And then she's got a triathlete background and a gymnast background. And then
I feel like that's 2 opposite ends of the spectrum right there.
Yeah, well, dude, you guys talk about what makes a good
triathlete.
Like, I mean, look at triathlete, elite level gymnast, right? Like 2 huge components, right? You look at Tia, right? She's a sprinter. She grew up on a farm, so she's got that like farm boy, farm girl strength, like, you know, 2 massive things. And then she just like learned how to breathe, right? Learned the movements. You know, and then you look at Fraser, you look at Medeiros, right? Like, they've got all of those backgrounds. And then the one that gets me the most hype, right? Like, obviously, you know, you've got other athletes that are with us that are coming back. Like, Colleen switched to bobsled, which is sick. Hopefully she makes the Olympics. You got Meg Reardon coming back from her surgery, and she's a stud, and she is not to be she's a force to be reckoned with. But it's Danielle Brandon. Like, dude, Danielle, she had like D1 offers for swimming. She was an elite level gymnast. She was D1 for track and field. And she's young, and she smashed she smashed this workout the other day of like, GHDs, heavy cleans, and double unders. And then, she turned around and was like just pumping out like sub 6 minute miles, like running. Like she is so good. It's scary. And she doesn't believe yet how good she is. And
she don't realize yet. She doesn't realize it yet. Yeah.
She doesn't. Yeah. She doesn't realize yet. She will believe it. Trust me. Dude, she's scary good. Like she took 10th place at the games, and then she showed up at Vegas to train with Carrie before she moved there to prep Carrie for the games. Dude, she'd never used a yoke before. She didn't even know what a clean pull was. She was like, "What do you mean? You just clean the bar?" I was like, "No, the clean pull. Like you're training to pull." It's like, huh? Like you bring it all the way up. I don't understand. like just like simple things. She never used the handstand course, the obstacle course before, and then she just posted that video where she went down and back 3 times pirouetting. Like she is so much like a greenhorn, yet she's still qualified for the games twice. Like,
right.
So it's a scary, like, yeah, you're on watch. And then the dark horse is Alexis Raptis, who she was a teen athlete and she's scary fit. She works with Training Think Tank. She lives in Salt Lake City, and Alexis is stupid fit. So that'll be a fun one to watch. Like I'm fired up. It's gonna be a sick year.
Cool. Christian, you want to take a short break and do the speed round with Cooper?
Yeah, I don't know if he's ready for this though.
All right.
You ready for this, Cooper? Speed round with Christian.
Let's do it.
Are you ready?
Christian, I'm gonna like next episode or two, I'm gonna get some like theme music ready and get you like a logo, like speed round with CH. All right, here it goes.
Would you rather move fast or lift heavy?
Move fast.
All right, I respect it. Coffee or pre-workout?
Coffee. Black. Good dudes.
Okay. Current favorite sneaker?
Honestly, Nano X1.
Okay.
Reebok.
I like it. Same team.
Yeah.
Favorite brunch food?
Oh, there's this awesome thing here called the California Scrambler, which is essentially just a deconstructed omelet. It's got bacon, tomato, avocado, cheese, egg.
That's all you need.
So good.
One exercise for the rest of your life?
Oh no. I guess I would say thruster because I hate them, so I'd get really mentally strong with their good full body too.
I like it.
Yeah.
And give us an idea of your playlist.
Ooh, I mean, dude, if we're being honest here, it ranges big time. But if I'm working out by myself, I'm going back to my middle school emo roots, and I'm getting really emotional with like Taking Back Sunday and Hawthorne Heights and whatnot. But the new Machine Gun Kelly with Travis Barker drumming, Blink-182 vibes, so good.
There we go. There you have it.
Yeah.
Spitfire with Coop.
That's right. But dude, I think you posted something the other day. Somebody did that Drake song "Emotionless" with that cover. Like, oh my god, it's got me into a whole nother vibe of like music for the last week. It's like, it's
right.
Unbelievable. Yeah, it's so good. So, Joe, I think I crushed it. Hey, before you guys kick me off, because you said 45 minutes, Joe, tell me about yourself, dude, because I've never met you. Like, where are you at?
Oh, we don't want to bore the people out there.
Come on.
I still had more. I had more questions. We're actually at the 15-minute mark, and I said we have 45 more minutes. So we actually,
good, cool.
If you have the time, we still have about 20 minutes here.
Oh, I got the time. Let's go.
I'm interested in like I don't know if you have anything to do with this on your end at lab, but you have. I'm just going to say it. You have an athlete like Carrie Pierce, who is obviously one of the best athletes in the world, but she's a little quieter, or she doesn't have that, like, I don't know, that huge personality. And then you have someone else that might be only.
I think I beg to differ.
Okay. But like in the public eye, wouldn't you say, Christian, in the public eye though?
Yeah, maybe.
I'm going to put something out there, right? My pushback on that, because I agree with CH on this one, because CH knows Carrie really well. We call her Auntie Carrie because she's like the sweetest person alive.
Right.
The problem is that CrossFit media back like in the last couple of years, right? Like when everybody got fired, it was just gone. But before that, it's very much like you see the same people over and over again. So you never got the opportunity to see somebody like Carrie shine, right? Like, dude, there are times when Carrie's winning the heat, like, or wins the workout, and it's like, Carrie Pierce just won. Anyways, check out this athlete over here in 8th place that we all love. You know, like, it's just always been like that, which is just one of the most frustrating things, because once again, it's time to like put some respect, like, you know. So she just hasn't gotten the opportunity. So, and I know you're not saying like it's just what you're seeing from the public eye. 100%, I get it. You're not. And
I'm with it. I'm with it. And actually, my wife and I are like huge diehard Carrie fans. She won this competition we did in Queens called Hail to the Queen. She's super chill, super nice. And what my like the complete part of the question is like, what, and maybe there is no answer, you know, how do you encourage your athletes to grab the attention more of the fans or of CrossFit HQ or whomever to like get you more in the public eye? Because it seems like the talent or the rankings aren't enough, you know?
Yeah. I mean, some of that is like, it's just having the conversation of like, yo, we got to get you out there a little bit more, right? Like, be, you know, share who you are, like what it is you think, like how you tick. And people will identify with that. But I mean, dude, some of it's just like, it's like politics. We, you know, it's politics, right? You politic a little bit, honestly. Like I network with people like, dude, let's get you in front of this person, get my athlete on your podcast. Like, you know, you got to do some of that stuff sometimes as an agent to grow the brand, right? To get them in the eye, public eye a little bit more. That's why but to be fair, man, like that's why I'm really excited about the like the changing of the guard in the CrossFit space, because, you know, Rosa, like after having a conversation with him, like he believes that the CrossFit space can grow, like the sport of fitness can grow exponentially, and that's the biggest room for improvement. Because, you know, whereas the old guard was like, no, CrossFit Games takes away from CrossFit Health the mission, Rosa sees it as, no, CrossFit Games exposes people to CrossFit, which then leads to healthier lifestyles, which I think is 100% correct. So he's going to be putting a lot of like effort into the media and building the brands of those like a lot of the athletes, you know, to cast an even wider net. So I'm excited about that. But yeah, some of it's just like, you got to demand your seat at the table a little bit, because it's not a fair shake.
Yeah. Do you have any sit downs with your talent and have like brainstorm sessions of like, hey, these are some ways or angles or thematic through line themes that we want to be pressing with you, and almost lay out like a plan, whether that's posting on social, whether that's the podcast? Do you have sit downs with them to kind of spitfire ideas?
Yeah, I mean, I've had definitely conversations with different athletes in terms of how we can build their brands. Some are just like naturals at it, CH being one of them. You know, honestly, like Bethany and Amanda do a really good job of it, because they put themselves out there a lot. And like I field podcast requests for Bethany and Amanda like literally daily, and I'm always like, hey, build the brand, like spend 30 minutes on your rest day, build the brand, right? And they're usually always down to do it. But then we had conversations. I'm like, okay, Amanda, you know, you should try to launch a YouTube channel. And then a guy came through and was like, hey, I want to do your YouTube channel. Brandon Casey. He's the same one who runs Tia's channel, and has like the incredible like editing skills. It was like, yeah, perfect. Grow the brand. Let's do it. We've talked with the Vegas crew, and, you know, there's been kind of some murmurs about trying to maybe do some more YouTube content there and whatnot, if we could make that happen. So yeah, there's absolutely kind of like a little bit of game planning around how it is we can kind of expose ourselves a little bit more, you know, to newer networks and things like that.
I can attest to that a little bit from an athlete side. Like we have group chats and group texts, like with Cooper and a lot of the athletes, and email blasts that kind of go out and, you know, it gives us tips of, you know, how to approach social media, you know, new things that are going on with like Instagram algorithms and things like that, and just how you can separate yourself a little bit more from the rest, you know, which I
Yeah.
appreciate.
My last thing to tag off of that question I had, and then Christian, I'll turn it over to you to finish this off. For someone that doesn't have an agent or is, you know, gaining traction with following, what would be, you know, you were talking about building your brand with Amanda and I think you said Bethany, as far as like you get hundreds of podcast requests, like do it. It's only 30 minutes. It's going to help. What would be a suggestion or a couple for people just starting out on trying to build a brand, trying to gain traction for their personal brand?
What would be like number one suggestion for somebody like that?
Yeah, I've heard you say like stuff like they're willing to put themselves out there. Like, is that one of your suggestions, or, you know,
Yeah, I mean,
something like that?
I mean, dude, I could give you like really broad, overarching answers of like, be true to yourself, you know, like stay the course, keep posting a lot, right? Like, there's all types of things you can do. I mean, dude, a lot of that is just like upper level 30,000 foot thinking, and I'm like for me, there's like a few specific things that legit tangibles that people can take away. It's like, one, you know, invest in a camera that actually, you know, takes high quality photos, or, you know, get your iPhone going and actually take good looking content, right? Like, people like to look at things that please their eye. The second thing is, if you are somebody who is a little witty or whatnot, like, go ahead, go to a profile like CrossFit Games, like understand your demographic. Like, if you're a CrossFit athlete, then you should be following the major CrossFit pages. And they, you know, you should have your post notifications turned on. When they post, you should be the first person to comment something, right? And it should be something a little tongue in cheek, or something that actually makes people think, right? Maybe it makes them laugh. Maybe it's an opinion, whatever. People will be exposed to your brand that way because they'll see your comment at the top. They might click your profile. They might actually, they might actually follow you. So like, I suggest that to the golfer, right? Like the golfer that I work with, you know, anytime PGA Tour posts something, like he's number one posting, and then people are like, oh, hey, it's Scott. I watched him play last week and I'm going to follow him. Didn't realize he had an Instagram, right? So something like that. That's just like a stupid, simple hack you can do that takes 6 seconds when you see a notification to drop a comment, leave it, go back to training, right? But the other thing is like, dude, when you're sitting on the couch, because we all know CrossFitters are hands down like the laziest human beings besides the gym, right? Like, y'all train so hard. Like I was there, I remember. Like, you train 4 hours and you can't walk anymore, and you need to sleep because you're dying. So when you're laying in bed or on the couch, like, go out there and network with those people, like the people that commented on the posts of the demographic that you're in, right? Or the sport you're in. Like, go back and reply to them, comment to them, whatever. Like, go to their post, like legit show them some love. Don't just spam people with like 36 likes and then dip, because people just think you're running a bot or something. Like, but you need to spend the time. Like, you need to spend the time and actually like do your piece. And little by little, man, you'll gain traction. And then the last thing is like, you know, go handle your business on the floor. That's tip 3, but it should be tip 1. Like, you know, you're only as good as your last performance. As an agent, I'm only as good as my athletes. So, you know, you need to go out and kick some ass and let it be known that you're a force to be reckoned with. And then, you know, people will start to take notice. Like, it will happen, right? So, yeah, 3 takeaways.
That's good.
Love it.
Cool. I'm going to turn it to you, Christian.
What was the question?
Anything? No question. Just anything you anything you got to close us out with, Cooper. Any last questions or remarks?
I got no more questions for Coop, except for when are you coming out here to get a little session in, get a little bro time in?
Dude, I hope soon. Jake said he had a great time. Also,
yeah, man, it was a good weekend.
Males, yeah, two males to watch. Dallin Pepper, which people have kind of know because he's won in the teens and he snatched 300 pounds recently, which is impressive. But, you know, Jake Marconi's coming back, dude. He's coming back.
Jake is on the comeback, but I tell you what, I'm very impressed with Dallin. Like, I've been checking out his social over the past like month or so, and very impressive kid.
And he's a kid, dude. He like, and just so you know,
is he a tall dude? He looks massive.
Bro, he's a big boy.
Okay, yeah. All right, dude, so yeah, repping for the big guys. I like it.
That's right. I like Dallin, just like feather in CH's hat. Like, Dallin very much aspires to be like CH in the way that the content's produced and the quality of it. So we use you as an example a lot because you want to talk about like brand building talks. Like Dallin's one of the most receptive kids that I've ever worked with, and he's like a student of the game. Like he started off a little bit, and he was one of those kids that represented any brand that sent something to him, and didn't exactly communicate that well with brands. It's like 14 years old, 15 years old, like no duh, yeah. Right? And since then, right, he's like now 19. He's like a young man who has gone out, connected with those companies, thanked them for their time, apologized for the lack of communication. Is asking me all the time about how to set up his website, how can he push this, how can he do better for this company, like what's the game plan for this, that, whatever. Like he is 100% on board with growing his brand and winning the CrossFit Games, and he's a stud, dude. Like I'm so fired up to watch those two compete. It's just going to be a hell of a year. Yeah.
Cool.
So, yeah, guys, if you need representation help, at Lab MGMT, drop us a DM. We'll see if it's something that makes sense for you. If not, I'll be honest, because I told people before, you're not ready. This is how you can get there. In the meantime, don't do this, and kick some ass. So,
like this, Lab,
that's
like
right.
that.
That's it.
Or no. Okay, cool.
MGMT, you're good. Golden. So.
All right, Cooper, thanks so much for your time. This was super insightful. Appreciate you.
Hell yeah. Thanks, boys. Appreciate it. Can't wait to move
yes,
back.
Sir.
Probably lift moderately light, but let's be honest. I'll see you.
Later,
bro.
All right, Christian. Nice episode there. I really enjoyed talking to Cooper. Good guy.
Yeah, he's always got some nice gems in there.
Yeah.
Always good to chat with.
Yeah, good to chat with you too. And the conversation, I hope, for people listening out there, including myself, is just like mad respect to you CrossFit athletes, and not just the hustle in the gym, but outside of it, to make a livelihood out of it. And hopefully with Rosa and the evolution of CrossFit, they aspire to hopefully take care of the athletes better and better each year. So when are you going to be an agent? Are you going to be an agent next year?
Maybe one of these days, maybe some MFLH management. We'll see.
Or I could see you probably already are to some of your CrossFit friends, but being like a brand advisor on taking.
Yeah, I mean, I definitely, anybody that is within the space that, I'm friends with that are on social, people always ask me for tips and things like that. Like, what can I do better? What kind of camera do you have? Things like that. So
yeah,
I'm here. I'm here.
What kind of camera do you have? We can
right now I have, yeah, sure. I have a Sony A6300. I chose that because it's good with the video content side of things. I started with the Sony A6000, but I wanted something that was a little bit more robust on the video side of things.
Cool.
So.
Do you have this is a personal question now, but others probably want to know too. Sometimes Instagram wants to compress your video, because when it's like super high quality. Do you ever have that?
Yeah, I just had an issue like 2 days ago. If you saw my post, like it looked like a fucking potato. Shot it. And
right. How do you get around that?
One of the things that I've heard is if you actually upload to Instagram via your computer, it will pretty much never lose quality. It'll get compressed, but it won't get compressed to that point. You also want to try to be on Wi-Fi. That also always helps. Yeah, those two things: uploading from computer and making sure you're on Wi-Fi.
I believe that with the computer thing, because when I upload from YouTube, sometimes on my phone, man, it's garbage. And then if I redo it on my computer, it's a lot better for sure.
Yeah, like I posted it and then I went back to whatever I was doing, and then I came back and saw it, and I was like, I wish I would have seen it at the time. Like I didn't realize it got compressed that badly.
Yeah. Cool. Well, hopefully people that stuck around for minute 55 of this episode just got some gold right there. Some gold. All right. Well, I'll see you when I see you. Until next time. All right.
All right, bro.
All right. Later. All right, everyone. There it is, episode 4 with Cooper Marsh. Thanks again to Cooper. You can check him out on the gram at Cooper Marsh or at Lab Management, Lab MGMT. Don't forget about checking out movefastlift.com or head on over to our Instagram at movefastlift. All things fitness and fashion. Got some hot items of apparel on the website and a new drop coming soon, so be on the lookout for that. Don't forget about our free trial with Move Fast, Lift Heavy online training. Not just your run-of-the-mill fitness program, but interacting with your own personal coach on a daily basis to send questions or videos for technique replies, all the good stuff. All right, this is Joe Roscoe. Thanks again for tuning in. We'll see you later.
My name is Christian Harris. I'm a CrossFit athlete, coach, trainer, and founder of Move Fast Lift Heavy. MFLH has always been more than just apparel. It's a way to train, it's a lifestyle to live, and now we've leveled up that mantra by creating our online training platform. Move Fast Lift Heavy now provides personal online programming. The programming can be done either in a gym, with a garage gym setup, or even from the comfort of your own home with a dumbbell or even at body weight. This isn't just your typical workout block. You'll have unlimited access to our coaching staff to ask questions and submit technique videos. MFLH has always been more than just an apparel line. Now you can be a part of the team. Click the link to get started, and let's get to work.